Hello, my name is Graham. I want to talk about tinnitus and some theories I have about the causes of it. And I've come across the theories of them purely by an accidental discovery. And that's how a lot of sciences began, or theories are created through accidental discoveries. I suffered from ringing in the ears or tinnitus for many, many years, and I worked in heavy industry, in big industrial sites that were very, very noisy. I've been to rock concerts when I was young, listened to bands a lot and all of that. And I also assumed automatically that the ringing I had in my ears was the result of rock concerts and all that sort of thing. Permanent damage to the hearing. Or the little filly, the small hairs in the ear itself, they're laid down apparently when you're affected by a loud noise, they don't stand up again. So the story goes, and then it causes some problems with your ears. And it's also within the nerve itself, the vagus nerve and other nerves in the around surround the ears as well. That affect have indicative in the causes of tinnitus and the effects of the sound to keep you awake at night or whatever. Now, I have another theory altogether, which may not include 100% of the people. But there's another theory altogether why tinnitus is so predominant throughout the world now. And I believe it's the low frequency sound that is a cause of recurring tinnitus in people. And now I'm going to try and explain how I'll come to that sort of idea, if you like, an understanding. I had tinnitus for years, and I lived in remote places in the bush in Tasmania, but there's still some background low frequency noises with refrigerators and what have you in the house, or pumps going along in the valley. Now I left there, and I end up in the deserts in far west New South Wales. I'd never been in a desert before, and I was fascinated by the idea of camping it. So I went and camped in a very remote place and drove my vehicle quite some way in, miles from anywhere, absolutely nothing. I was there, it's flat, miles from anywhere, as flat as it could be, almost a 360-degree horizon of flatness. It's so quiet, absolutely quiet. It was absolutely silent. It was absolutely amazing. I've never experienced the sound of silence, which is nothing. The loudest thing I'm going to hear and gives me a start is rubbing my hands against my trousers. I'm going, what on earth's that? It was so loud, so distinctive. But then I realised after a little while, after I spent the 3 days there in this Campton there, my tinnitus had gone away. And I thought, wow, I sort of suddenly woke up to it. I thought, I'm trying to listen to my tinnitus. It's gone. I'm missing it. I'm not missing it. I thought, I'll listen again. I haven't got any tinnitus. This is a revelation. There's nothing interfering with my hearing except the wind, of course. I got a very, very quiet wind, and that's all there was. There's no trees around. And my tinnitus had gone. It was absolutely fabulous. It was amazing, the clarity of it, the relief. It was brought tears to my eyes. I'd never had relief from it before. Now, when I went back into town and you come into the towns or sleep near towns or in parks and that, suddenly it's coming back again. And you think, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Now, I done some further research then into low frequency sounds. Low frequency sounds are sounds that may be inaudible to a lot of people, but they're nonetheless, they're there in the background all the time within our lives, within the modern life, because they're driving all the refrigeration units, air conditioning units in many modern motor cars, especially in diesels, and with many shop refrigeration units, which are quite large. And all those things in a village or a town or a city means there's enormous saturation of low frequency sounds. Now, that means that and unfortunately for 20% of the people, they can hear these sounds and it will affect them sort of emotionally and intellectually, and will make them feel sick because they actually have effect upon your physiology, if you like. People can't sleep, and it takes a lot of time to overcome that. I found that I am one of those people myself. So I took a particular study at this, particular interest in this. Why am I getting woken up by these noises, and someone sleeping near me or in the other room can't even hear these noises? But I know they're there, and I can go and discover by getting on my push bike at night time and tracing exactly where the noises are to prove that it's not just a noise I'm imagining. I can go and trace and find out where the noises are. I went round a bit and discovered all the noises in little villages and said, okay, I'm hearing this noise. You can't hear it? No, I'll go and find it. I'll find where the noise comes from. Because everyone's got their own signature and their own noises. Each machine's got its own rhythm, depending on the manufacturer and the size of the machine, etc. Now, so that, and the problem with low frequency waves, sound waves, they're very heavy. And what happens is when they, like heavy sea waves, waves in the sea, they can crash between buildings. And if you've got a veranda, say, in your house or stuff like that, then the sound will crash into your veranda and accumulate and amplify itself underneath your veranda. So that will make people who live in verandas, especially in Australia, who are affected, say, by wind generators. And people, the miserable, mean people in the government agree and say, oh no, it's all a myth, you're just imagining the noise and all that. No, they're not. 20% of people is scientifically proven, but some evolutionary freak of evolution, are more affected by low frequency sound than others, and yet the people who are supposed to be caring about environment and humanity don't give a damn that these things that are stuffing up these wind generators near towns are actually affecting people's health in a very significant way. It gives them heart palpitations because the low frequency sound will, if it's in dissonance with the frequency of the body, the human body sort of has its own frequency, if you like, its own hertz, if you like, and that is what 60 hertz or whatever it is, I don't know. But if the low frequency sound from these wind generators, for all low frequency sound, are in a dissonance or in discordance, if you like, with that frequency of the body, then it will cause a out of rhythm. It can cause the heart to go out of rhythm, if you like, because it's got this bombardment of a frequency which is affecting the frequency of the heart. And it's an extremely significant thing to look at, because then there's other things behind this as well. We call the lack of sleep, the emotional effects, and all that sort of, and not being believed will then affect people in other ways and cause depressions and stuff like that. Which basically the government and the people talk about depression, but they don't actually care about it, because when you say, well, these are the causes, they don't really give a damn. You take some pills, that's it. Don't try and fix the causes. But it's very difficult to handle and tackle the cause of low frequency sound, which is all the motors and refrigeration units. And we saturate the sound that's saturated from all these is enormous. It's immense. It's everywhere. Why I then realised that the idea that when I went to the desert and it went away, I thought, well, it's a miracle or something like that. When I had another occurrence of it, when I went out to sea, I went someone invited me to go sailing for a little while. I went sailing up the Queensland coast for a few days. And when I'm out at sea there, and it was black, it was night time, it was actually really beautiful, really peaceful. Not much breeze blowing, we were going with the wind, so we didn't hear the wind when you're blowing with it, going with it with the boat. And lo and behold, I realised suddenly I have no tinnitus again. Again, this is the second time. So basically, it doesn't conclusively prove a theory or an idea, but it does in a way say, hang on a minute, there's a pattern there, that where there's no low frequency sound whatsoever, not high frequency sound, which is a different thing, low frequency sound whatsoever, because I'm miles away from shore, and the tinnitus went away, and it was absolutely, I thought I could sail around the world doing this, because the relief, you do not realise what a burden this tinnitus is till it's gone away. When it's gone away, I think, oh, wow, it's like suddenly it tends to not lie to you. Suddenly, wow, you relieved us of this thing. You've got to learn to deal with it all, with the psychology of it and all that, emotionally, and trying to get good sleep. And you're trying to overcome it. It takes practice to overcome the problem because low frequency sound is affecting so many people, and it's affecting children going to sleep. They go to sleep and there's a low frequency sound bumping through the house with a refrigeration unit, or the neighbour's refrigeration unit, or a whole block of flats refrigeration unit, and the city environment's got all this low frequency sound with all the hydraulic pumps going everywhere with the refrigeration units, and all that goes together to saturate the environment with low frequency sound, which is making a massive amount of disturbance to society and giving an awful lot of people tinnitus, regardless they can hear the sound or not. You can be next to people say, "Can you hear that aeroplane droning over there?" So now they say you're imagining it, but you can go outside and see the aeroplane at night time because it's got a light on it. And he said, "No, I can hear it there. I can see the aeroplane. It's overhead. You can't hear that. No, they can't hear it, but you can hear it distinctly. The droning of the engine." So that distinct, and you can do that example with many people to show that some people can't have got the same acute hearing in regards to low frequency sound to others through their own hearing deficiency or their own background, a genetic background or whatever, because it is a sort of variable between different people. But they are a number of people, 20%, a minority of people, are seriously affected by low frequency sound that the government ignores and the Greens ignore, and all these sort of environmentalists and the human friendly people totally ignore and then mock and attack because they don't like the wind generators because it's affecting their sleep, which makes a total hypocrites out of all these supposedly pretty correct, we care for people, we care for environment people. Well, the most important environmental problems I say is sleep. Getting humanity getting a good night's sleep. Without tinnitus, without this background noise of low frequency sound, would be a great step forward for humanity, although that's hardly likely to happen for a long time yet. But there you are. I can't say there's a cure for tinnitus. There's lots of things on the net that you can look into yourself to relieve you from it, and therapeutic musics and stuff, which are very good, which I use on a regular basis. So that's how I get some relief from tinnitus. Is I put my earbuds in at night time sometimes if it gets a bit, because there's low frequency sounds around where I'm living, cars, people hiding in the cars, refrigeration units, even now in a small village in the countryside, they're still booming through the night time. Even though the other person else can't hear them, I can hear them clearly. I can go and get up my bike at night time and identify exactly the machine was making the noise to prove to myself it is that machine. But if you approach the council about this, they don't want to know either, and they're supposed to be environmentally friendly and futuristic and all that effect. But actually, it proves that most people who pretend to be environmentalists, that's all they're doing. It's another means it's another politically correct thing to do, to say these things. But these people are all the same. All the same. They don't mean a word they say, because these things, and many of them around town, can be identified, and they can have sound deadening materials placed around them to cut out a lot of this low frequency sounds, and that would make towns a lot quieter, and that would, I believe, relieve a lot of people out of the tension having to deal with low frequency sounds. And also, it might relieve a lot of people out of tinnitus, and it might allow a lot of children and a lot of people to sleep a lot better and have healthier lives. And that surely is a better environmental, ecological, and economic outcome than worrying about something about you can't do nothing about climate change, but you can do something actually practical about this direct effect on people's health and mental well-being. That seems to be a secondary factor there to what anything else. Because we want to talk about something sensible or practical, like dealing with low frequency sounds in town frequencies or precincts, or you know, the tone of refrigeration units anyway, and refrigerators in people's houses. When you want to look at the sort of frequency of those, maybe they need to all be modulated or examined so they do not give off a particular frequency that then causes people to have in a discordance with the frequency of the human condition, which is a sort of small variable. Anyway, I just thought I'd put that as an idea to further sort of enlighten the talk about tinnitus, but I don't think it's quite understood for what it really is. It's a constant bombardment of low frequency sounds, even whether you can hear them or not. And it's just something for people to consider if they can try the experiment, go somewhere dead silent, down a coal mine or something like that, which is another place you can find quite a silence, and see if it works for you. You have to spend a couple of days, because it then allows the nervous system, the oral nerves, whatever they're called, to then settle down, your body to settle down, your heart to settle down, your mind and breathing to ease off, the tensions go. The tension's gone because the low frequency sound's not bombarding you, whether they like it or not. The tension's go, and therefore that tension going may also help relieve the tinnitus. Anyway, I just put that out there for people to consider. Thank you.